The last voice message. Every Sunday at 7 p.m., Maya received a voice message from her grandfather. Sometimes it was a story. Sometimes it was a joke so old that even he laughed before reaching the punchline. Sometimes it was just a reminder to water her plants. When she was a child, she listened because she loved him. When she became a teenager, she listened because she felt guilty if she didn't. When she became an adult, living hundreds of miles away, she listened because the messages had become a small, steady lighthouse in a life full of deadlines and noise. Then one Sunday, no message came. At first, she didn't think much of it. The next morning, her mother called. Her grandfather had passed away peacefully in his sleep. For days afterward, Maya walked through life as though she were underwater. People said kind things. Flowers arrived. Work emails piled up. The world kept moving when it felt like it should have stopped. One evening, unable to bear the silence, she opened her voicemail. There they were, years of messages, hundreds of them. She pressed play. His voice filled the room. "Hello, Maya. Just checking in. Remember, the tomatoes grow better if you talk to them. I don't know if that's true, but they seem happier." She laughed through her tears. The next message. "Did I ever tell you about the time I accidentally entered a dance competition? Well, sit down." Then another, and another. For weeks, she listened to one each night. It felt like borrowing a few more minutes with him. One rainy evening, she reached the oldest messages. Soon, there would be none left. The thought terrified her. She wanted to save every laugh, every pause, every breath. But time doesn't work that way. When the final message ended, she sat quietly in the dark. The room felt empty. For the first time since his death, she realized she would never hear a new story from him again. Then her phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. Confused, she opened it. It was from a young woman named Clara. The message read, "You don't know me. I volunteered at the nursing home where your grandfather spent time before moving in with family. He talked about you all the time. Last year, he asked me for a favor." Attached was an audio file. Maya pressed play. Her grandfather's voice appeared once more. But this wasn't an old voicemail. It was something different. "Hello, Maya." He paused, as if he were sitting across from her. "If you're hearing this, then I've gone somewhere you can't visit yet." Maya's eyes filled with tears. "I know you're sad. That's the price of loving people. I'd pay it 1,000 times. His voice softened. "I wanted to tell you something I learned after a long life. At the end, nobody wishes they had worked one more hour. Nobody wishes they had worried more. What matters is much smaller. The people who knew your favorite song. The people who remembered how you took your tea. The people who noticed when you were pretending to be okay." Another pause. "Love hides in ordinary things." Maya covered her mouth. "And one more thing. I know you're afraid you'll forget me." He chuckled. "You will." She froze. "You'll forget the sound of some stories. You'll forget exactly how I told certain jokes. That's what happens. But you won't forget how you felt when you were loved. And that's the part of me that matters most." For a moment, there was only the sound of his breathing. Then, "So when you miss me, don't look for me in recordings. Look for me in kindness you give away. Look for me when you call your mother just to talk. Look for me when you help someone who can't repay you. Look for me in the love that keeps moving. That's where I'll be." The recording ended. Maya sat in silence for a long time. Then she called her mother. They talked for 2 hours. The next day, she visited an elderly neighbor she barely knew. The week after that, she volunteered at a community garden. Years passed. The grief never completely disappeared, but it changed shape. One summer afternoon, Maya's young daughter climbed into her lap and asked, "Can you tell me a story?" Maya smiled. Without realizing it, she began with the exact same words her grandfather had always used. "Did I ever tell you about the time someone accidentally entered a dance competition?" Her daughter giggled. Maya laughed too, and in that moment, she understood. The voice messages had ended. The love hadn't. It was still traveling forward quietly from one heart to another. As Maya sat watching the sunset, she thought of the love that bridges past and future. It's not in grand gestures or words, but in enduring heartbeats. Nurturing her garden, Maya felt her grandfather's presence in every blooming flower, in every leaf kissed by light. "Mom, do you think Grandpa can see us from up there?"
I believe he can, sweetheart. Watching with a smile as wide as yours.
In the quiet embrace of home, Maya realized every moment of love was a story in itself, a continuation of those beloved messages, living on in every act of kindness.